Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I hope you're all... Will it clear up? Yep, good. I hope you all had a good weekend. As best as one could have these days. Hello, James Motley and Bobby Duvall and Sherry Hughes. Thank you very much. And Amelia. Hello. Oh, let's go to the top. Linty London. Illusion is over. Matt Davis. Mike Luft. Hi. Shill X Nick 89. Hi. At a time. Jane Northrop. T Lamb. Well, you know, I guess I just go on. I guess I do. So, radar. We have some precipitation up here in South and North Dakota. Some up here in Washington State, but I have to tell you, wow. It does seem that ever since this war kicked off in Israel, that a whole lot of, well, those supercells that we were seeing on a nightly basis erupting somewhere, activation. I haven't seen them maybe, it's got to be about a week. I know the war kicked off. Can't believe it's going on close to a month. 1 month of this. But yeah. Okay. Unusual, to say the least. And I don't think, you know, there has been a weather modification resolution and cure, and it just has stopped now. So don't worry, everybody, because everything's just going to be fine. No. You ranted so much the other night in the chat or in real life. Oracle 11, Patricia White, Nikki Lawrence, hello. Brenda Rose, hi. Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling better, Brenda. I hope you had a better day today than you did yesterday. Well, I am going to start with a video that was sent to me by Step Down, who joins us for these lives every now and then. I want to thank him for sending me this video. Very good. It's in line with what Synergy, the video that the researcher that I posted, well, that was Never Lose Truth 1. But this is a very good video as well. Advanced technologies revealed the truth about human hacking. It's happening. It's already happening. And those who have never done any work on their own self may be responding to life now in a way that they want people to respond. They want that response. Maybe sitting down, doing nothing, apathy, indifference. But we have an awful lot of crazy. We have an awful lot of immaturity, which, you know, I guess people feel perfectly at ease with disclosing this immaturity to everybody, you know, in the cyber world, which I think is very strange. Yeah, we have a lot of craziness. A lot of people, well, my life is just here, okay? So reading the comments, you know, for some subscribers who have been subscribers for a very long time, I used to be able to understand their comments. Now I don't. And I don't even know if they know that they're leaving comments that how do you understand? How? I mean, they're, just... So, strange things are happening. Are you responding to me, T. Lam? Haha, well, both? In the chat and real life? A little bit better, good. Brenda, I feel worse. But I'm here. I'm here, and I'm bringing my best self. It may be shit, but it's my best self. Shadow Kath and very few, this... Well, you can put in the chat, Never Lose Truth 5, please sub, you can say it, and I'm down on live streams now, from posting from Never Lose Truth 1 to 5. I noticed last night I'm down about 600. 600. So, yeah, it's not the life that I've wanted to live. Being a YouTuber and just dealing with being punished. I am so flippin' tired of life. Hey, what was my title? Can't even remember. What was it? Oh, I don't have the title with me. Oh well. Something, our effing world and more stuff, maybe. Alright. Listen to this. If you haven't heard Boris Johnson's speech in 2019, I've seen this video, I've listened to him, but if you haven't listened, but I'm going to play about 10 minutes of this video that I'm going to link to in the chat. And I sure do hope that even if you don't click on, videos to watch yourself, maybe you could click on it and share it somewhere. Circulating information is the least we can do, right?
You may keep your secrets from your friends, from your parents, your children, your doctor, even your personal trainer. But it takes real effort to conceal your thoughts from Google. And if that is true today, in future, there may be nowhere to hide. Smart cities will pullulate with sensors, all joined together by the Internet of Things. Bollards communing invisibly with lampposts, so there is always a parking space for your electric car, so that no bin goes unemptied, no street unswept, and the urban environment is as antiseptic as a Zurich pharmacy. But this technology could also be used to keep every citizen under round-the-clock surveillance. A future Alexa will pretend to take orders, but this Alexa will be watching you, clucking her tongue and stamping her foot. In future, voice connectivity will be in every room and almost every object. Your mattress will monitor your nightmares. Your fridge will beep for more cheese. Your front door will sweep wide the moment you approach like some silent butler. Your smart meter will go hustling of its own accord for the cheapest electricity, and every one of them minutely transcribing your every habit in tiny electronic shorthand, stored not in their chips or in their innards, nowhere you can find it, but in some great cloud of data that lowers ever more oppressively over the human race. A giant dark thundercloud waiting to burst, and we have no control over how or when the precipitation will take place. And every day that we tap on our phones or work on our iPads, as I see some of you are doing now, we not only leave our indelible spoor in the ether, but we are ourselves becoming a resource, click by click, tap by tap.
So that was the United Nations General Assembly. That was the former Prime Minister, obviously. We've all seen him before. And this is from the European Union, funded by the European Union. And this is called Graphene Flagship Technology and Innovation Roadmap. So up at the top, we've got 2023 and before. And then we've got 2023 to 2029 and 2030 and beyond. So what have we got in 2023 and before? Functional coatings and surface modifications, cool. Structural materials, cool. Fast charging batteries and advanced photovoltaics. We also have biosensors and things like that as well. So what are the biosensors for? Obviously, low-cost printable electronics.
It may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents.
Also within the 2023 place as well would be neural interfaces.
March 16th, 2018. The U.S. government's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, commonly known as DARPA, announces a bold initiative to develop what they call next-generation non-surgical neurotechnology. It is designed to allow the human brain to directly interface with machines.
We know that DARPA is exploring human-machine interfaces that include direct connections between the brain and outside systems. That's been from the beginning of DARPA's information technology mission, and it continues to this day. DARPA has created some of the most influential technologies of all time, things that we use and take for granted every day, including the project that became the internet. They've created self-driving cars, stealth technology, GPS that fits in your pocket. That's DARPA's specialty, to imagine the future and create it.
A new technology that is actually very much on the verge of being a reality that is being fielded is we could have a sensor maybe on the surface of our head, or maybe implanted somewhere in our body, in our brain, or something that allows us to interact directly with our communications gear, our processing gear, our weapon systems, and so on. But now imagine we take that technology and we can control robots at a distance with it. Even fly drones. You put this sensor on and you think the right way, and you can increase the speed of the fan by thinking and controlling that thought with direct-to-mind or mind-machine interfacing. With that type of capability, you could control all sorts of buttons and mechanisms in equipment.
Mind-machine interfaces will have many applications in both civilian and military life. But there are those who believe that this same technology could also be used by DARPA as a new form of mind control. Like their counterparts at the CIA, DARPA-funded researchers have spent decades investigating how the human mind can be altered. In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
There are explicit programs of DARPA to read and write to human brains, whether it's through direct implants within the brain or wearing some kind of cap. So these things are being worked on, and we know that.
So what's the next step? Maybe the next step is we can send instructions and information to an actual person from a distance with this kind of technology to let another person control their actions. But that could be something that could be malicious.
If there's some way to do it from a distance, a much greater distance than something that you can wear on your scalp, that would be the ultimate technological achievement that would fall into this realm of mind control and direct human-machine interface that DARPA may well want to keep secret.
Look out for Charlie. People hearing voices, awful lot of people hearing voices, and they're acting on those voices, and he says, well, it could be malicious. Shooters, the main shooter in Lewiston, Maine. I don't think there's any way out. I don't think there's any way out. Not with this technology that's going on. And they're using it. And we all know, like Boris Johnson, right? People laughing at him while he's giving a United Nations speech, telling us essentially what is already happening. And, you know, they have to tell the truth. They have to get people to tell the truth. Oh. Well, they've been telling the truth for a long time. And I guess it just doesn't seem to motivate anyone, which is very strange. You know, when you see what's happening in the world, and you know that it's really dangerous and really serious and really important, you would think that more people would be motivated and would be talking about what's happening. Instead, well, we're finding the opposite. And those who are awake that I've known throughout the years have decided to shut up and just go about their business. Forget about everything, I guess. It's easier to live that way. Yeah, well, some of us can't. I'm putting the link in again. It is a very good video, chock full of very important information. Please circulate it. And proof that fake governments are hacking humans. So, somewhat in line with the first video, but I'll put the link in. And, well, they say too many things that just can't be said on YouTube. So the link is in the chat. And I'm going to put the link in to Candace Owens' video. Oh, don't tell me it was a watch later. Please. No. The shocking truth about trans surgery. Very important. Look, you may not be interested. It might not be an issue that affects you in any way. It's affecting a lot of children. So that's why we need to be circulators, you know, of this information. Especially if you know, if you have grandchildren, if you have children, if you know you have friends who have children, you've got family members who have children. Think about them. Your tax dollars pay for millionaire Democrats and Republicans swanky DC apartments. You know, I literally bottomed out after reading this. So, we have the elderly being put on the street. We have so many parents who are now freaking out because they can't, you know, pay their bills. Everything has become so expensive. Rents are skyrocketing. There are no, you lose a decent job, good luck finding one that will maintain the lifestyle that you have. It doesn't happen. But wouldn't it be nice if your boss recognized all of these increases that you are saddled with, and then they increase your wage to meet those increased costs? Wouldn't that be nice? Doesn't happen. But hey, taxpayers are funding luxury housing accommodations for AOC and over 200 other members of Congress, many of whom boast net worths over $1 million, as one of their last actions with their majority. Democrats quietly tucked a provision into internal House rules that grants lawmakers access to an optional $34,000 annual subsidy to pay for their Washington, D.C. housing and meal expenses. Don't you wish that you could just change the rules and give yourself $34,000 for food and rent? Wouldn't that be sweet? That's what your representatives do for themselves. They already have benefit packages that are, wow, just a wow, right? They get paid, what, $174,000 for their positions in the House. They literally just rewrote the rules and gave themselves $34,000. And the ordinary American just struggles away. I think people need to stand up, speak out. It's your money, by the way. It's your money. 113 Democrats and 104 Republicans have taken advantage of the program, raking in a combined $1.4 million from taxpayers during the first half of 2023. Recipients of these funds include at least 17 millionaire Democrats, including Representative Katie Porter, who reported a net worth of up to $1.8 million, and House Minority Whip Catherine Clark, Democrat, Massachusetts, who boasts a net worth of up to $13.5 million. Yeah, it is absolutely disgusting. Cecilia, 100%. But hey, these representatives care about you. House Democrats passed the housing subsidy in response to criticism from younger members, including AOC, who have long complained that their $174,000 salary is insufficient to maintain a home in their districts and pay for skyrocketing rent in the nation's capital. Since taking office in 2019, AOC has rented an apartment in a luxury Washington, D.C. building that boasts amenities including a rooftop pool and indoor golf simulator. So the squad, Omar, has billed taxpayers over $14,000. Talib receives $6,800 from taxpayers to pay for her lodging and meals. Bowman, who was ordered last week to pay a $1,000 fine for intentionally pulling a fire alarm in a House office building in September, has received $6,200 to pay for his rent and meals. Bowman reported in his latest financial disclosure that his wife owns a pension valued at over $50 million, though his office told the Free Beacon in September that the asset is worth just $50,000 The filing has yet to be amended. As taxpayers finance the living expenses for wealthy lawmakers, a record number of Americans are struggling to pay their own rent. How about the Republicans? Matt Gaetz received the largest share of funds out of any lawmaker. The Florida Republican who led the effort to oust former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, in part due to his budgetary policies, has billed taxpayers nearly $17,000 from January through to May to pay for his DC living, and an additional $6,200 to pay for his meals. An average of over $1,250 per month. Ginger Gaetz, is it Gates or Getz? Matt Gaetz, right? Yeah. Ginger Gaetz frequently brags on social media that the Florida Republican is a great chef and posts pictures of his culinary creations from their Washington, D.C. residence. Yay! So, Matt, you're eating well. How about those Floridians who are really struggling with the high cost of everything? I have a visceral response to these people, and it's repulsion that they are so not unaware of what is taking place in our country. And a lot of us are really struggling. Markets a look ahead. Are you next? Prepare for a new wave of bank failures. I'll post the link. And I think it was Bank of America that just had documented a huge loss. So, here we go. Hamburg Airport, Germany. A 4-year-old hostage held on tarmac. What? Police in Germany dealing with a hostage situation at the airport after an armed man drove through a security barrier and onto the tarmac. It's understood that the man, 35, and a child, 4 years old, remain in the vehicle, which is parked under a plane, and officers are in contact with the driver who entered the airport on Saturday evening at about 8 p.m. local time. But what I find interesting is they say that the authorities believe that the situation involves a custody dispute. Well, I think the custody dispute has been resolved. I don't think the man is going to win custody. But what is in the minds of people today? Could he possibly... Wait, what? So he busts through security. Now he's under some tarmac. Oh, whatever. He's on the tarmac. I mean, does he think he's just going to get onto a plane with the 4-year-old and escape? And think that all is going to be well? Do you see how people are thinking these days? It's, well, nutty, to say the least. The new First in the Nation policy. You ready? It limits Seattle police from knowingly lying. That's where we reside here in the good old US of A. It's okay for police to lie. But to, try to curb that in, they have to actually write policy to say, okay, not so much, okay? Could you maybe restrain some of the lies? This happens when the people have consented to, this is how we communicate with one another. We just lie. We just lie. Whether in business, whether in, familial relationships or friendships, we just lie. Oh my God. According to the new policy, police will not be able to use a statement an officer knows is not true over any mass media or in any way that will shock the conscience. The policy also requires officers to get permission before using any ruses along with other use guidelines. Get permission before you lie. Holy shit. This is, think about everything that you're seeing today was not happening, but you were reading that these are, historical documents from long ago. And if you were reading all of this, don't you think you'd be, oh my God, a society actually lived like that? It's how we live. Bill Gates' lab-grown meat causes this in humans. What a shocker. Mom says Bethel schools canceled bus routes caused her to lose her job. Washington. Spanaway. Bethel School District does not have enough bus drivers to run its routes, forcing it to cancel routes often in the morning as parents are getting their kids ready for school. This is an unfortunate situation, and we are developing a long-term plan to provide some more consistency for families and drivers. I lost my job over not being able to show up for work because of not having a bus driver. Oh, wow. She said the district canceled her kids' bus routes 3 times in 1 week, forcing her to drive them to school. And, well, I guess we can't get anything working anymore. I guess Americans just don't want to work. Or is something else going on? Have they been disabled? A whole lot have passed on. And this was sent by a subscriber. You see that license plate? Maine. Ooh, people. Yeah. Well, kind of sums up what we're living. Did I put all the links in to what mattered? I hope so. So, here we go. And this caught my eye and my attention, and I thought to myself, yep, makes sense. The people who rule you know that if you won't fight for the right to breathe properly, the sky's the limit for your perpetual enslavement. Now, that's regarding, the thing you put on your face during pandemic. But take it off, and we still can't breathe properly because of what they're spraying in the sky. Our air has become toxic. Not a whole lot of people give a shit. Well, when you look at that, you have to think about the individuals. How could they possibly not care? I've seen them. They were my friends. It's kind of like, oh, well then, if we only have a few, speaking out about what's going on with the geoengineering and all the spraying of the nanobots and all of the very toxic ingredients that they use for the geoengineering, and if people are just walking around, they know it and they don't do anything about it, there's a depth of self-loathing that they may not even be conscious of. Demoralized people don't act on their own, in their own best interest. But they sure do hope others do. So, journalists increased their use of the term white supremacy by 2,862% between 2010 and 2019 across 47 news outlets. This was sent to me by Marty. Thank you, Marty. Yeah. Odd, isn't it? All of these news outlets from 2010 on started talking about white supremacy. Let's see, who was the president? Oh, that's right. 2009, boom, Obama. 2010, white supremacy. Oh, white privilege. Woke then comes. Social contagion, along with idiocy and reframing a reality. I think that's called gaslighting. A whole lot of people fell for it. How is that possible? But they did. USA, USA, USA. We're number one. That's, look at this. Look at this. Wow. Drill it into the heads. Drill it into the heads of the babies, and they'll begin to repeat the lie. U.S. European officials broach topic of peace negotiations with Ukraine. Wow. What is going on? He looks like a sourpuss. What is going on? Peace with Ukraine when, well, not too long ago, what we were hearing is if we don't win Ukraine, the world is at risk of losing democracy everywhere. All right, we got a lot going on in the Middle East, so maybe we should do a little peace negotiation going on in okay, I lost my train of thought. Seeing not very nice neighbors. That's who they're barking at. Good dogs. Yeah. Look, pretty much everything that's going on in this country just makes me sick. So, okay, so now we're going to do the peace in Ukraine. Well, will we? Are we going to? We don't seem to be hearing much about Ukraine these days. It's kind of off the radar. Oh, and Zelensky complains war in Gaza, it's taking away the focus from Ukraine. How dare you? How dare you? I want money. I want weapons. Really? Really? Oh, it's Russia is doing this. It's Russia's goal to take global focus away from the Ukraine war. It's Russia behind Hamas and the Zionist government. Russia's controlling everything. It kind of makes your head explode. And when your head's exploding all day long, you get a headache. Which I had, and I did take ibuprofen, and it's much better. Well, all right. Calm down. Calm down, Zelensky. The U.S. just announced a new $425 million weapons package for Ukraine. You gotta wonder what Zelensky has on. Oh, so many in the U.S., in Washington, D.C. I wish I had a sister, even from another mister. We literally are forking over our own money for our own demise. That doesn't seem to be a very smart move. Yeah, I have seen some of those signs. Whites need not apply. So, yeah, okay, Zelensky, so calm down, little boy. Calm down. We're going to give you more weapons, okay? So you can play war. I mean, doesn't he remind you of a little adolescent boy who's spoiled? But he's got a lot of information on dad and mom. And he might spill the beans. Maybe he'll just be taken out. Well, don't fall for Biden's latest talking point. Oh boy, why do I even bother? Because Americans just fall for everything. Biden made this point himself when he introduced a $105 billion proposal to send military aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Yeah. Okay. This is what Biden said. We send Ukraine equipment sitting in our stockpiles, and when we use the money allocated by Congress, we use it to replenish our own stores, our own stockpiles, with new equipment. Equipment that defends America and is made in America. Patriot missiles for air defense batteries made in Arizona. Artillery shells manufactured in 12 states across the country, in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, and so much more. So don't bitch and complain about the billions going to all of these different countries, because it benefits you. You know, we get to ship the stockpile, and then we replenish it. And is it replenished immediately? No. So hopefully nothing will happen during the time it's being replenished with all of those American weapons. Oh, wow, man. Majority support for Muslim migration ban, as 3 in 4 Germans say newcomers hate Western society. Yeah. Whole lot of people are seeing it, but those pushing these policies, they don't care. They've got the security and they've got the means to avoid all of the chaos that's coming, all of the chaos that's here already, and more to come. And it's just going to get worse. Blinken tells Abbas, he asked Israel to use smaller bombs. Abbas is the head of the Palestinian Authority. Yeah, okay. So he told Abbas that the U.S. is pressing Israel to minimize civilian harm and to use smaller bombs. Use smaller bombs. What do we say to that? What do you do with that? I was really just kind of cup runneth over today. And that's when I'm really struggling because I have nothing to do. Nothing to do. And I so want to get out of this area, out of this motorhome for sure. But I couldn't. I couldn't even force myself. I was trying to read some articles. I was trying to watch some videos. My cup runneth over. The evil, the idiocy, the abject smack in your face psychopathy that we are seeing coming out of these leaders, and then the quiet that we hear from our fellow Americans. So, I didn't read many of these articles, but really this was one of them that I saw the headline. I couldn't read it. I'm like, okay. I can't even look at any more. I keep trying pretty much on an hourly basis. I hope it doesn't stay like this forever because it is, let's just say the feeling is not sustainable. Yeah. Kamala Harris' stepdaughter helped raise $8 million for Gaza, while Mom's administration pushing billions for Israel. Publicly Ella Hemoff, who she doesn't identify or practice Judaism. Her father is a Jew. I don't know about her mother. But if her mother is also Jewish, so she is, but that's neither here nor there, publicly raising money for Gaza, promoting a fundraiser on her personal Instagram account, quote, supporting urgent relief for Gaza's children, which is now absent from her profile. This is her stepdaughter. All right, well, the first family looks a little bit different than it used to. The promotion asks her 315,000 Instagram followers to support the Palestinian cause, without mentioning that her stepmother's administration, wants Israel to just bomb them into oblivion. Wow. Okie dokie. So it netted more than 7.8 million. It's being operated by the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, nonprofit based in Kent, Ohio. It's of tremendous concern, and I find it abhorrent. Jeff Van Drew, Republican, New Jersey, member of the House Homeland Security Committee. To be honest with you, I am kind of stunned by it. It's disturbing to the maximum degree. Van Drew said it was almost certain that Hamas would be able to siphon any humanitarian cash that went to Gaza. Did Van Drew say anything about the 150 million that we sent over to Hamas after the October 7 attack? Seems a little odd. Can't people have, if people want to take sides, can't they just do that without being called names? No, not anymore. Not anymore. Oh well. Nice pout you got there. Despite her father being Jewish, Ella's rep told the Forward in 2021 that Ella is not Jewish. So her mother may not be Jewish. Okay. So, Monica Crawley, who I don't watch mainstream media anymore. I don't watch the news. I don't have a TV. I just get these little short 2-minute YouTube videos about the news and what's going on. Monica Crawley is still around. Monica Crawley, well, she had a lot to say about the United Nations. She calls the United Nations a cesspool of anti-Semitism and hate. Alrighty. And that's all that's it, folks. Just the news. Thank you, Just the News. That was it. Cesspool of anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-Semitism, and anti-Western activity. Well, that is pretty much true. But if you're going to be relating it to this war that is taking place, it's not. People don't like seeing children die. No, wait. People don't like seeing children who get murdered. And that's what's happening pretty much on a daily basis now. I shouldn't even say pretty much. It is daily basis. People don't like that. And, well, I guess they're not seeing Palestinians as human animals. Like Monica and a whole lot of others. They have not dehumanized Palestinians. They still see them as part of the human race, as opposed to an awful lot of others. And you have to really wonder about them. So, when they're talking that word hate, projection maybe? Projection of their hatred onto others. This is what's happening. So I played this video of this woman who lives in Gaza. And the video last night was she's just walking around and showing everybody what Gazans are having to deal with on a daily basis. Since then, she posted this important update.
And even if we survived the white phosphorus, even if we survived the bombing in the schools, in the hospitals, in our homes, there is no food, there is no water, there is no clean food, there is no clean water to drink. All what we have is the water, salty water from the sea. Now the sea is all what we have. They are trying to kill people by hunger, by making them thirsty and sick. They are trying to kill 1 million people by hunger. We do not have anything to eat. From the beginning of this war, we ate once a day. Now, even this time, we cannot afford it. There is no products, there is no food, there is no aid, there is nothing. We are dying because of hunger. There is no aid. There is zero aid that enters the north for 1 million people are still in the north. 1 million people are in the north. There is no food. There is no water.
You might want to start thinking about what you're going to do in that situation. Oh, I'm not going to be in that situation. I've been preparing for years. bombs fallen, all your prep's gone. I'm horrified. Like, I have never bought into that American exceptionalism crap. Never. And I did not see Americans as morally superior. And as I grew older, I actually saw them as, holy shit, they're delusional. But I never thought I would live what I'm seeing in the recent past years. Never thought I would see so much just a lack of moral character. But now seeing so many people who are just, they seem to be fine with the whole people being wiped out. I don't know what to do with that. But it sure doesn't make me feel good. We're a very sick people. Very sick. And the sickness demands that we look in the mirror. You can trust I do. And here, it's bigotry, it's racism, it's about taunting Jews. So Jews are taunting Jews. You know, there are so many Jews wearing the t-shirts, not my name, calling for a ceasefire. So, I don't know how they get to carry on that you're anti-Semitic. I guess the thousands and thousands of Jews are self-hating. No. They just care. And they seem to not be so indoctrinated. Indoctrination. Arizona does not have a time change. It's the only state that the time remains the same. So, the live stream will be a different time for everybody else.
The point I make in that piece that you mentioned is that when it comes to Israel, even not killing people is a genocide if Israel's involved. This is the kind of Orwellian situation we've now reached. And I think the use of terms like genocide every time Israel takes action is really interesting because I see it as Jew taunting. I don't think it's about criticizing Israel anymore. I don't even think it's about criticizing Israel in a really kind of hysterical fashion, which some people might justify it in those terms. This is about taunting the Jewish nation and taunting Jewish people by saying to them, you have become the heirs of the evil that was unleashed against you in the 1930s and the 1940s. You are now the Nazis. You have become the thing that tried to destroy your people. It's mockery, it's taunting, it's racist abuse. So when you see people on the streets of London and other cities waving placards saying Zionists are the new Nazis, or showing Hitler's face morphing into Netanyahu's face. We saw that on a march in London on Saturday, and other anti-Semitic caricatures as well. That's not politics. That's bigotry. That's not anti-imperialism. It's racism. And we have to be very open about that. Every comparison of Israel to the Nazis is a racist act. And everyone who goes on a demo and casually rubs shoulders with radical Islamists who are calling for holy war against Israel, which happened in London, or with people holding up placards saying,
I would love to understand how it is that people can think that and then in conversation say it. It's racism. It's taunting Jews. When Jews themselves are out in a whole lot of these protests. So, are these people so indoctrinated that they actually believe what they're saying? Or are they lying outright because they know that if they say something else, they may get taken down? What is going on? Why are so many people believing that people who call for a ceasefire, who are out, saying, free Palestine, are it's not political. It has nothing to do with the Palestinians. They just want to taunt Jews. Holy shit! What kind of thinking is this? I'd really love to understand it, and I can't. I honestly cannot. I can't understand this position. Not with what is going on in Gaza and the West Bank on a daily basis with so many children. I mean, now I think it's about 4,200 children who have been killed, dead, murdered by bombs. Ordinary people, most are decent people. They don't want to see children die. So this is waking up a lot of people to take some action. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I wish I had someone here to talk to. Just, yeah, absolutely. All humans can become a Nazi at any moment. Absolutely. Oh my God. And I posted this. It's only, just under a minute. I'm going to play it again. But we have a major problem here, and we're going to face it soon enough.
No.
What country?
No.
Why? What country?
No.
You from Syria?
No.
Syria. What country you guys from? Hey, why is it a big secret? What's the problem?
No.
Why not?
No.
Whoa, what's the problem? You guys from Syria? You guys okay? Amigos, what country?
No.
What country?
No.
Don't want to show their face. They're all wearing the same boots. They all have those backpacks that seem to be real full. And what's the problem? You're coming here to seek asylum and you don't want to show your face? They look like private contractors. Private contractors. All countries use them. Well, I'm going to play a little bit of this video that was shared to me last night, and I can't remember who, but thank you. And it's pretty much what everybody has been saying who has been, following what's happening at the border. Cells all over the country. Terrorist cells that will be wreaking an awful lot of damage. Oh, Americans. You sat too long, too comfortable and too privileged. And I think you're going to start to learn what we've all been allowing to take place in other countries. Karma? Perhaps.
So the FBI last week, they came out and said that there could be potential attacks that could be coming to the United States as a result of what's been taking place in the Middle East. The U.S. has been getting attacks from Iran. The U.S. has now attacked Iran. Iran's foreign minister came to the U.S. in the UN on our soil here in the United States and said that we would not be spared from their fire if this war in Gaza with Israel attacking the Strip continued. Well, it is continuing on, and Israel has told us there will not be a ceasefire, that this will continue on. They will eradicate Hamas, and it won't be if, it will be when. And they have warned the United States, this will be a long, drawn-out war, so brace yourself. And so now what we're hearing is Iran is saying they are ramping up, and they are planning to come against the United States. Now, the FBI came out and they said, listen, we believe that we are on high risk, and the attacks that could be coming, as I mentioned, they're likely going to be cyber attacks against our infrastructure. So I let you guys know in my last live, and I also put it in the videos in my channel. Watch the water systems, they said. Watch the electrical grid. Also, they said, watch the airports. They are planning to take down U.S. systems. Now, we have a list that has come out of cities that they believe have groups in them already that are planning. And as I shared with you guys, this is linked in the description below. The FBI director specifically called out just last week that they stopped a nationalist that was arrested in Houston, Texas, that was accused of preparing to detonate devices and to harm lots of people in Houston, Texas. Now, this is one of many. Now, in addition to that, to give you guys a little bit more information, if you are interested in doing some research, because some of this I am not going to cite because, like I said, I don't want the platform, if you catch my drift, to get upset with what I'm sharing. But there are websites that you can look up that explain that there are these certain groups that are in the United States, and we have intel on them. They are watching them. They know they're here. But this list is just of the ones that we know of. If you believe that there are more here, put a 1 in the comments. If you believe that they have tabs on all of them, that the FBI is controlling everything that's going on pretty well, put a 2. But I've got a feeling that this list, wait till you hear the list, it's pretty extensive, that this is just what they know of that's taking place, you guys. Now, let me go ahead and share this with you, okay? So let's go through the list, and I'm going to let you know what we have on here. And this is not in any particular order. This is not in alphabetical order, but this is the list of cities, you guys. And let me know if you are in this city. If I name a city and you're in it, type a 1 in the comments so that way I can see. Actually, no, we're already done 1 and 2. Do me a favor, type a 5. Type a 5 in the comments if I name your city. I'd like to get intel on how many people are on my channel that are actually in these cities the FBI is warning of. All right, so this is some of the information coming out on cities to be on the watch. Now, first is Washington, D.C., all throughout the state of New York, San Francisco, California, Santa Clara, California, Los Angeles, California, San Diego, California, Houston, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Boca Raton, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Boston, Massachusetts, Playfield, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Cleveland, Ohio, Laurel, Maryland, Potomac, Maryland, Harriton, Virginia, Springfield, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Charlotte, North Carolina, Detroit, Michigan, Columbia, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, Denver, Colorado, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Tucson, Arizona, and Seattle, Washington. That is the list that they currently have where they're saying, please be on the lookout. Not only is there concern of physical attacks, of possible, attacks on people with devices. But in addition to that, they are saying these are the cities to be mindful of, to watch against attacks against our infrastructure systems for our water, our electrical grids, taking down our airports. They're trying to shut down our systems to wreak havoc on our daily lives, on the citizens here on U.S. soil. And they're saying this is likely the route we'll be going if by chance this war continues, if there's official war declared. And again, like this is, when I heard the list, I was shocked at how many cities are on this list. And
I don't know why. I'm not shocked. And I think there's a lot more cities that are not on the list. Why do you think that they have been flying these migrants, military-aged migrants, all over the country? They're all over, in every state. In every state. So they're in Maine, they're in Montana, they're in New Mexico, they're in Arizona, they're in Kansas, they're all over. Hey, come on, guys. No. All right, we've got cat action outside. So, I'll come back and link below to. We'll talk amongst your. Sorry for the interruption. A cat fight could lead to a vet visit, which I don't want to do. So, I will post the link. You can listen to the full video, but you should already be very aware of what is taking place. If you're not, and you're shocked, you're living in a city that is on this list, then I guess you haven't been paying attention. So, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden announce a new agreement that they will combine their efforts on removing migrants, saying they would launch a joint deportation flights. Well, I guess they're experiencing way too much violence already. And at this point, I think an awful lot is way too little, way too late. And these pro-Palestinian protests, they're ongoing. They're so flippin' huge. This is in the UK. Police barricade themselves in a train station. As protesters have sit-in protest.
Stop. Okay, let me stand up. Out the way, out the way.
This is an apartheid! This is racism! This is not anti-Semitism! This is humanity! Stop the death of children and babies! Stop!
This is not anti-Semitism. This is stop the genocide and stop killing babies and children. I don't get how we think anymore. Okay, I didn't believe it, but it's true. 100 Israeli doctors signed an open letter saying to bomb hospitals in Gaza. These people are criminally insane. Link to translation. Yeah, doctors calling for bombing of the hospitals. Now, I don't see any signatures, so this has not been verified, and I can hardly read it, but I will link to it and you can read it. Look, do no harm. Do no harm seems to have turned into do as much harm as you possibly can all over, certainly in America. Well, because my cup runneth over today, I had just that amount, but lo and behold, so there was some Windows 10 update that took place, and it screwed up my bookmarks, and I don't know how to get to my bookmarks. But I would just repost a lot of tweets that I saw, because I would be thinking that if there's more time to fill in a live stream, that I would just go through my page. But then I saw bookmark on Twitter. Has bookmarks always been on Twitter? I don't know. But I just saw it, and I'm pretty happy for it. So, Mahatma Gandhi. What do I think of Western civilization? I think it would be a very good idea. We think we're the civilized ones. Reevaluate that thinking. Israel bombed my home. My parents spent 25 years working hard, living on a tight budget, and saving up every penny to afford it. My widowed mother wanted to sell it to pay for my siblings' college tuition, help them get on their feet. All my memories, everything we had, gone. Wow. If just this doesn't affect you, ask yourself why. Imagine everything gone. Imagine everything gone. Your family, your home, everything gone. Your children, gone. All those things that you hold dear that's in your house, it's gone. Everything is gone. And you stand alone. And you don't have any recourse to get anything back. How do you think you'd be feeling? Now, I don't, they have these fake videos out there, so I don't know what this video is about. I don't know if it's real. It obviously took place. There's Merkel. So it took place. When did she leave office? About a year. Was it like a year and a half ago? But I'll play it. I think it's one of those fake videos. But we do know this whole group, they're really twisted. They're very sick and twisted.
Zardoz speaks to you, his chosen ones. Zardoz, your God, gave you the gift of the gun. The gun is good. The gun! The penis is evil. Go forth and kill. Zardoz has spoken. Zardoz.
So here's the NATO symbol. What do you think? I think it's fake. But who the hell, I don't know anymore. I honestly don't know anymore. Israel is using mercenaries. That video that we saw where the person was hiding their, faces. Mercenaries, private contractors coming into our country. And they don't care that there's an American there asking them questions. They were rather entitled coming into a foreign country because they know that that's where they've been ordered to go.
I'm a medical doctor, I'm a civilian. I have been all around in Shifa Hospital for 16 years. I've been walking freely everywhere. I've taken pictures and videos. I have talked to anybody, to patients and to staff. I've even been sleeping in the Shifa Hospital, and I have never seen any signs of any military command center in Shifa. But I think, again, you have to ask the Israelis, because if they are so sure about this command center that they have been talking about for 16 years now, where is the proof? Where are the pictures? Where is the X-ray of the hospital? Because you have to remember that Israel has a very sophisticated intelligence, and they have been X-raying the ground of Gaza. They have mapped all the tunnels for the resistance. They know the phone number of every citizen. They know the addresses. They know exactly who lives where. So why is it that this brilliant Israeli intelligence system has not been able to put forward any proof?
Well, I guess it feels that it doesn't have to. And do understand, the U.S. government and military are really... That's why an awful lot of leaders around the world are saying that the Americans are behind this. So, and they want this war to literally just spin out of control. Iran gets involved. The sleeper cells in UK and US in particular get activated. It's not going to be a fun time. current wave of bombardment as unprecedented?
في ضد الآن تجدد القصف الآن كما تلاحظون هي ليست غارة ولا الآن من جديد الآن يقترب جدا القصف هذه الغارات يطال مناطق من جديد. هذه ربما السلسلة الأعنف التي نشهدها من
Dead boy. You don't understand, man. Hamas uses human shields. Really, really advanced human shields. The kind where there aren't even any Hamas members anywhere near them. It's just 100% human shield with 0% combatant. The most secure kind of shield there is, Caitlin Johnstone. The term human shield is nothing more than a racist lie that's been used by the U.S. throughout history to justify its mass slaughter of innocent civilians.
The term human shield is nothing more than a racist veil that makes the dehumanizing assertion that Palestinian culture encourages the death of its children. A more rational explanation is that there's nowhere to flee in one of the most densely populated places on Earth, and that every single civilian location is considered fair game to be bombed. However, because of this propaganda tactic, the constant and indiscriminate bloodshed in Gaza isn't seen as criminal or deliberate by the majority of people. But this is a learned tactic. The term human shield has been the Empire's favorite excuse to justify mass slaughter in its wars of conquest. In Libya, the year prior to the US NATO bombing campaign, the human shield talking point was used ad nauseum. In the lead up to the Iraq War, the Bush administration included the human shield talking point as a main tenet of his campaign to oust Saddam. Journalist Robbie Martin uncovered entire CIA reports dedicated to Saddam's devaluation of life through the use of human shields. Bush even preemptively tried to justify the enormous civilian death toll he knew was to come with the invasion by declaring the former Iraqi dictator plans to, quote, shield his military and blame coalition forces for civilian casualties that he has caused. I guess there were 1 million human shields in Iraq.
Okay. Israeli forces targeted a civilian family traveling via car in southern Lebanon. Reports say there were journalists. One was a journalist and his sister, a Moscow-based TV reporter, who was in the car along with her 3 children. She's alive, but her children are not.
الآن بسبب استهدافها من قبل هذه المسيرة الإسرائيلية وهي سيارة مدنية كان فيها وأطفال.
She's crying. She thought she'd never go back to school after the year was canceled. Her teacher comforts her by saying it's not forever, just for the year. She was then murdered. Well, I guess it was forever. And this, man, we are such a disgrace on the world stage. It is absolutely repugnant, just reprehensible. And listen to the idiocy of the answer.
So when the people of Ukraine resist their occupiers, they are heroes. When Russia bombed these buildings and those hospitals and train stations. These are war crimes. Same thing is done to the Palestinians, but when they resist their occupiers, they are called terrorists. And when these buildings are destroyed in Gaza, that's self-defense. So there is double standard that the world can see.
But we know the two sides are far apart, and the ground, unfortunately, is not ripe for moving or restarting negotiations that will lead to that two-state solution. We've made clear our strong stance in support of Israel's security as they are being attacked by, and it is out of Hamas, and I don't think there's any disagreement among many that they have made terrorist attacks, and we have to be strong in our support and in our efforts to defend the rights of the Israelis to defend themselves against rocket attacks from Hamas and other terrorist groups, but we also are clear that Palestinians deserve peace and prosperity.
Yeah, okay. So, she didn't answer the question. The question was, Russia bombing hospitals, schools, that's considered a war crime. That's what our government officials have said. And Ukrainians are the heroes. But Palestinians, they just get to be the inhuman animals who are terrorists. Every one of them, apparently. Yeah. Well, I think that's quite wrong. It's very wrong. And we know it's wrong. But these government officials just continue to say the same thing over and over again. White phosphorus? Is this really white phosphorus? I've never seen it hang in the air like that, and such a blob. Israeli warplanes intensively use white phosphorus. Does it hang in the air like that? Oh boy. Oh God. Now, this guy, I'm sorry, but Americans, it doesn't matter what position they hold. They're so mentally ill. Now he's coming out and speaking up. He doesn't call for a ceasefire, which a whole lot of his constituents wanted him to. I posted videos of, the protests at his office, people sitting and the police having to walk out the protesters, demanding that he call for a ceasefire. These people are all about themselves, and I'm sorry, but that is the American way. They're all about themselves. They don't care about the suffering they cause other people. This is one of the reasons why I think an awful lot of people around the world would like to see America bombed away. America gone.
I also understand, and I know you know, that words matter. And I want to ask about what she said.
Words matter, but what matters more, Dana, is you have a horrible humanitarian disaster that has to be dealt with right now. You call it whatever you want to call it. It has to be dealt with. Women and children cannot be bombed with 2,000-pound bombs. And we need the entire
So when
world
she
community
says from the
to
river
stop
to
that.
the sea, when she says from the river to the sea, which the ADL says is anti-Semitic, she says it's aspirational, but the ADL says it is anti-Semitic. Do you want her to stop using terms like that?
I'm sorry, but who the hell cares what the ADL says? I don't. The Anti-Defamation League, they work with our Southern Poverty Law Center, and they create lists of who is a terrorist or possibly an extremist or a hateful group, and this is what we're going on? Who gets to determine these things? And why do we allow them to just determine for themselves who are the bad guys and who are the good guys? But we've allowed this forever.
Well,
and
I
others
think,
and
like,
others.
Donna, you know, it's not what I want and anything else. This is what you got. President Obama just said the other day, I think quite correctly, and we all got to deal with it. This is an enormously complex issue. And slogans like the river to the sea, if that means the destruction of Israel, that's not going to work. People who say, hey, look, words matter, but what matters more, Dana, is you have a...
ADL says it is anti-Semitic. Do you want her to stop using terms like that?
Well,
and
I
others
think,
and
like,
others.
Donna, you know, it's not what I want and anything else. This is what...
The term from the river to the sea is one state solution, and it be Palestine. Okay, that's not going to work, obviously. From the river to the sea, free Palestine. Free the Palestinians. They're not calling for the killing of all Jews in Israel. They're not calling for the complete and utter eradication of Israel. I'm sure they would like it, you know, but these Palestinians who are saying from the river to the sea and the protesters, it is not anti-Semitic. It's not let's kill all Jews. And I'm tired of hearing people misrepresent other people. And we're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere. I can't stand not getting anywhere and everything getting worse.
What you got. President Obama just said the other day, I think quite correctly, and we all got to deal with it. This is an enormously complex issue. And slogans like the river to the sea, if that means the destruction of Israel, that's not going to work. People who are saying Israel, right or wrong, we're for you all the way, that's not going to work. This is a horrendously complex issue. You got a right-wing government in Israel, which is racist. And the people, by the way, the good news is, last poll I saw, only 18% of the people of Israel want Netanyahu to stay in office. I hope they get rid of him. I hope they put in a government which understands the severity of the crisis and can help us move to the two-tier state.
Senator.
And on the other hand, in terms of Hamas, you got a terrorist organization that cannot be trusted for a minute. This is, as President Obama said, a very complex issue.
I also understand.
Human rights. Everybody deserves them. It's not that complex. The apartheid state needs to be lifted. So, yeah, oh my God. And now he's coming out. I guess he felt the pressure from his constituents. I'm sorry, this guy is sickening. He's a warmonger. It's called a map of deadbeat debtors. It shows people if they're standing near someone in debt to the Chinese government, they will all be blacklisted. If you're just standing next to somebody in debt. Social credit system.
It looks like a naval radar scanning for enemy ships. The Deadbeat map is an add-on to the Chinese social media platform WeChat. It allows users to pinpoint the location of those who have failed to pay their debts within a 500-meter radius. For more on this, let's now turn to our in-house expert, Dan and Jay Kattlecar. Glad to have you on set, Dan. This naming and shaming app essentially is China's latest tool to monitor the behavior of its citizens and to pretty much distinguish between those who to the Chinese social media platform WeChat. It allows users to pinpoint the location of those who have failed.
Twitter that it keeps doing that.
These debtors, and also to alert authorities, so users can alert authorities if these debtors or some of these debtors seem capable of paying their debts. And this again points to this social credit system, which is all about judging the trustworthiness of the people. So for example, your credits, you can have more credits or less credits depending on your ability to, say, repay the loans, or even simple things like behavior on a bus. So this is taken into account, and there have been instances where people have been denied, for example, the ability to buy high-speed train tickets, or even to, accordingly, people will either be denied some benefits. And this is essentially the social credit system.
I mean, we're pointing to...
So if they're... Black Mirror, if you're standing next to somebody who is in debt, you get blacklisted, your social credit score goes down. That's not fair. And here's a Palestinian sparing water for the animals.
شوفوا والله العظيم ما في مية. والله العظيم ما في مية. شوفوا الإنسانية. هذا كلب شوارع يا جماعة الخير. هذا الكلب اللي كان بعضنا لما نمشي في الشارع. ميت من العطش. ميت من الخوف. شايفين من ساعة ما صار طخ من الطيران بطل يشرب. شربوا. يقولوا بس حيوان. الله بركة. طبعا انا الي الاجر لانه انا صاحب جنينه الميه، واحمد له الاجر لانه لقى الكلب هذا. اول مره احمد يمد ايده للكلب ويجربه، اول مره يمسك كلب.
Life could be so incredible. Life could be incredible. I was taught Israel was the victim.
I was taught that Israel were the victims and that these Palestinian people were like almost like these annoying people who would not leave them alone.
As I keep researching and learning about what's happening in Palestine right now, I can't stop crying.
This is a call-in to all Jews who support Palestine. When did you realize that the Zionist mythology of Israel was a lie?
And why do so many Jews support Israel despite it committing war crimes against Palestinians? And the truth is, we're not fed accurate information.
Because despite all these things that are happening in Gaza, I have not seen any footage of Palestinian people cursing Jewish people or Israeli people.
Seeing what is happening in Palestine right now and seeing how these Palestinians literally are thanking God as they're losing everything, I would be questioning.
All right, well, that cut off. Oh, boy. It's just... What do you say? We are definitely living an evil that we have never lived before, and it's going to get an awful lot worse. It really is. You know, when I first started posting, and I was saying, my God, if we can't get any of these agendas to even just slow down, that we're looking at something that will be unprecedented. And I was posting videos on, you know, just do that work to get yourself psychologically strong, emotionally, mentally strong. I know that I am. And I have to wonder, you know, if I were still in South Carolina, I think I would be in a much better emotional, mental, psychological space than I am now. But it's hard to see what has happened to this world, and so few have the sense of compassion and care for humanity, not for my particular group. We're a messed up people. So this was a very good interview. It's 27 minutes long. I will link below. West Bank activist describes torture by Israeli forces. And I'm just going to play a few minutes. We're almost out of time.
Welcome to a special bonus episode of Useful Idiots, where we speak to human rights activist Issa Amro.
He's based in the occupied West Bank, and he recently had a harrowing experience at the hands of Israeli soldiers. He was abducted, and tortured, kicked out of his home, and he's going to tell us about it. This is not the first time something like this has happened to him, and this is routine for Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. And at a time when global attention is understandably focused on the horrific massacres in Gaza by Israel, we also wanted to make sure that we pay attention to what's going on in the West Bank. So here is Issa Amro talking to us about what he went through. Issa Amro, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me to join you. It's my pleasure.
Where are you speaking to us from?
I'm speaking from Hebron and from a friend's house.
So let's start just with your own personal situation. You are a prominent activist based in Hebron in the occupied West Bank. You were recently displaced from your home. But talk to us about what happened.
Before I talk about being displaced from my home, I want to talk about what happened to me on October 7th. There are a lot of videos of Palestinian detainees being dehumanized, tortured from the Israeli soldiers. I was the first Palestinian to be detained by the Israeli soldiers on October 7th. It was the worst experience ever. I didn't expect that I will be released or I will go back home alive. When I heard about what's going on Gaza borders, I went back home, Tel Rumeda. I found out my Israeli settler neighbors, the settlers who are my neighbors in Tel Rumeda, who we know each other very well, and they are very extreme, very fanatic, and described by many Israelis that they are fascist. They were in army uniform, and they blocked me from going to my house, and they cocked their gun to shoot me, and even one of them hit me and pushed me. So I decided to go from another route. I did. I almost reached my house. I was at the gate outside. 15 soldiers jumped on me, handcuffed me, blindfolded me, and took me to the military base in Tel Rumeda. Then they tied my mouth too. So my mouth, my eyes, my hands to the back. And they came from the back and tied the handcuffs to the point, it's plastic, that blood didn't reach my fingers for 10 hours. Until now, I don't feel in my hands. And I think I need an operation. It's not only story. Then I was beaten. I was kicked. I was hit. Each soldier who was passing by me when I was in the military base spat at me. They opened the air condition on very cold temperature. I was shaking, pleasing them, begging them to stop torturing me. But what I got was more violence toward me. Even, they sexually harassed me. Settlers in an army uniform who I know their voice, but I'm blindfolded to maximum and I was in pain. They came and they started threatening to shoot me, to kill me. They punched me in the face and they say, Isa, this is what you get if you talk about us. Other soldiers did the same. That torture continued for 10 hours. Imagine that from late morning to the midnight. Then I was released without telling me why they detained me. And they didn't check my ID. They didn't check I had a bag. They didn't check the bag. They know me well. They know my politics. And the majority of them were my neighbor settlers in an army uniform. They joined the army after a few hours of what happened in Gaza. And they didn't care about what was going on in Gaza and about the Israeli civilians being killed in Gaza, which I'm against. I told them I'm against violence. I'm against targeting any civilians, not only the Israeli civilians, not Palestinians. All civilians should be protected. This is what I was telling them, but they didn't care. They were rejoicing. They were singing. They were listening to music. Not only that, normal settlers, they came and took selfie with me. Settlers, women, they came and took selfie with me, and they know me, and they were celebrating that I am being in that situation. Really, I was traumatized, and I felt that it's my last minutes in life. I was released to my house in Tel Rumeda. I didn't get any medical treatment, and I was locked in my house because they closed the whole area. 1 week I was in the house, and I'm living alone. I don't cook. I eat from the market, from the restaurants. Okay, I was with very, very little food in the house for 1 week. When I decided to go outside to get some medical treatment, when I had the courage and they opened the curfew for 1 hour, I went out. When I came back, I was detained again for 1 hour and a half. And they attacked my house, the settlers in an army uniform. They damaged my food I brought in, and they stole my house key. I was lucky that I was hiding another spare key. Then I went into the house, and I was told that I'm not allowed to leave the house until I coordinate with the army. How to coordinate with the army? Who knows? 1 week I was staying in the house. Another week, I asked Israeli friends to bring me food and to bring to my cats. I had small cats, kittens, 3, and their mother was not feeding them. So I decided to bring them food. The soldiers refused. When my Israeli friends from Jerusalem came to bring food to me and to the cats, they were prevented for the first time. The second group were attacked by the Israeli settlers in an army uniform. They beat them up. Then they broke into the house to search it. They threatened me that I'm not allowed to receive guests, to receive journalists. Then the army asked me to leave the house. I told them it's my house. I have no other place to go because I know what is in their minds. What was in my mind? 48 Palestinian refugees leaving their villages, their houses, and they will be not able to come back. So I refused. I stayed. Friday, October 20th, Yuda Shaul he's one of the founders of Breaking the Silence, and a journalist, Australian journalist, from ABC News, very famous, came to visit me in the house and to write an article about what's going on in the West Bank during the war in Gaza. So 10 minutes later, army came, Israeli police came. I was documenting that. And then they asked them to leave. They refused because the Australian journalist has a GPO card as a journalist where he's allowed to be in the war in Gaza. So that allows him to be everywhere. And Yuda Shaul is an Israeli, and the Israeli settlers are around, and they should have the same treatment. But the police and the army forced them to leave physically. Then I was evicted from my house violently by the Israeli soldiers. And they gave me a few minutes to take some small belonging. And since October 20th, I'm not allowed to go back to my house in Tel Rumeda. It's not a normal house. It's my dream. It's my life. It's my passion. It's where I do my nonviolence activities, where I used to receive diplomats. Many American lawmakers were there. Many European lawmakers were there. Many celebrities were in that house. The house is the symbol of peace, the symbol of nonviolence resistance, and the house now is unfortunately closed. I'm not allowed to go. I don't have enough clothes. I don't have any place to go. I go to this friends, that friends. I'm not able to really do interviews because I don't have enough internet. My laptop is inside. That's what's going on.
And
wow. Okay. Soldiers. When we think about what we just heard, are you also thinking about the U.S. government, the U.S. military, the American soldiers, Abu Ghraib? Remember? Remember? Give somebody power over other people, and you're giving people power over other people, and the people you give them power to are walking the low road and have no moral character. That's what they do. You think Jews only do that? Hello? Our American soldiers? We've heard way too much about what our American soldiers have done. Oh, over there. Yeah. So it's out of sight, and you hear it, but you put it out of mind. So when we're looking at the Zionist government, are we now, going to rate who's more evil? Well, the American government and the Israeli government are incredibly evil. And do what you can. Do what you can. Bring your best self to life every single day. Make a conscious choice. Get up in the morning and tell yourself, I'm going to bring my best self. I'm going to manifest some goodness in the world because, my God, do we need it. Live honestly. Speak honestly. Thank you for showing up. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Be safe. Ciao, guys.